It's something I started about 10 years ago because I really felt like I had a unique resume of being a former player with a degree in sports psychology, that I could talk about the game from a baseball perspective, but also from a psychology perspective. And so I had 3 attempts. The first one, it was more of a self-help directive that we were trying to do, and we could never really get any type of proposal accepted. And so I kind of put it away for a little while. And the second one was kind of the similar type of thing. And I had a guy that helped me write the proposal, and then we had an agent, and we kind of saw differently about where to go with that. So that fell through. And then I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done with it. And then I got a call out of the blue one day from an agent, a cold December day back in New Hampshire. And he had talked to some people that, in version number 2, he had heard wind of it. And he said, hey, I have an idea for a book that I want to go, and I even have a name for it. It's 90% mental. And I want to do a narrative, a baseball narrative, on what it's like to be inside the game of baseball. So we did that, and happy to say that it came out on the 20th, and so far the response has been very good. You know, one of the things that I kind of validated the reason for writing this book was in about 2007, I was working for the Red Sox doing their mental skills work, and I just went into the locker room one day, and 25 players were there, minor league guys, not making any money, tired, you know, locker rooms all dirt and sand and cups, and they're all just wanting to get to the big leagues. And I asked them, they sat down, what's like this, except for it was in their locker, and I said, how many of you are playing up to your potential? And no one raised their hand. And I said, well, there's 3 aspects of performance: the physical, fundamental, and mental. So with a show of hands, how many people here are not playing up to the potential because of something physical? One guy raised his hand because he was injured. I asked the same question and said, how many people fundamentally? One guy raised his hand. And then I asked the same question about the mental aspect, and they all raised their hand. And then I said, what are you doing about it? And they all were like, and I asked that question to players at every level that I talked to. I asked them that question, and none of them were playing up to the potential, and it's always the mental aspect. So to be able to talk about this and give an inside look as to a unique part of the game was something that was very exciting. My background and my path from Concord, New Hampshire to here today, 18-year professional baseball career that started in 1981 with the Yankees. I got to the big leagues in 1986, but my first full season in the big leagues wasn't until 1991. So for 5 years I was up and down. I had 2 surgeries, I got demoted 7 times, I got traded, I got released. I've ridden the buses and 13-hour bus rides from Nashville to Orlando, and worn the wet uniforms that don't get dried because the clubhouse dryers can't handle the load of that. Too much Domino's pizza to ever think about it as a meal. That was a healthy meal back in those days. So I really wanted to share those experiences through the book,